welcome back, everyone. You're gonna love this next segment because especially if you own a restaurant or if you know somebody that owns a restaurant, if you have been in a restaurant that you really thought was good, but you see there's, for some reason there's not a lot of people here or whatever. I have with me first Tom Duhigg and also Kevin Trumbull. They are the owners of Rise from the Ashes Consulting. And I want you, first of all, I have to talk about you a little bit, okay? Passionate, so passionate about what you do. With what you do, it's interesting because it can help any business.
Yes.
So even if you are listening and you own a business, believe me, they have things that can help. And one of the things that you mentioned is that you can turn around, and we're gonna talk about restaurants, but almost any business, in 90 days, you can turn them around. And you have a proven system that you have been working on. You have owned your own restaurants, so you know what that's like. And believe me, even when you own a restaurant, you own a business, right? So everybody should be listening here right now. And I want first for you, Tom, to kind of talk a little bit about your background for just a minute, okay?
Sure.
Because I want to hear about what you did and how you did what you did.
Yeah, so the first show, I mentioned that I had owned 2 restaurants. The first one was Build It and They Will Come, and nobody came, right? So my partner and I said, you make sure everything's perfect in here. I'm gonna go get some people into the place. So he took over the operation. The food was great, because we were restaurant operators. We were general managers of very busy concepts, very busy franchise concepts. So we thought we knew it all at 19, 20 years old, right? So we got our own thing, and beautiful place, didn't happen. So we had to make it happen because 2 families. So that's where I learned how to market, how to make sure that operations were perfect, that the customer service was perfect. We defined hospitality very different, and we dug out enough that we could sell it for some blue sky, right? My wife said, you're never doing that again. I said, no problem. The next year we're in Blythe, California. That's where I met him, and I have another restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant with a ballroom attached. But I learned, okay, we're not gonna make the same mistakes. We're gonna come to this with a plan. We know the service, hospitality, we need to have the hook, and the quality of food was great. And I had a ballroom where I had the Shirelles, the drifters, the platters, all these dedication bands.
That's kind of fun.
That was fun, right. And then after that, kids were growing up. We moved to Phoenix for opportunities, and I started with companies where because of what I was able to do, they said, can you help us grow? So I was like the growth vehicle for one of them. They had 30 restaurants, and I helped them get to 130 nationwide. So my area was the rest of the country. They started in California, and they had one guy there, and I had the rest. So I introduced the brand all across the country. That was fun, a lot of travel.
Now, if I knew somebody who was talking to me about how they can grow their business and accelerate their business, and they went from, this person had 30 restaurants, and now they have 130 across the nation because of you.
Me and the team, the team we assembled.
The team.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now, that's the person I want to talk to, right? And today you said that you kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some of the different things. Where's your paperwork? I got it in front of me. So what did you want to talk about? There you go. Go ahead.
Yes, we'll talk about. So restaurants, they're good at calculating food costs, labor costs, all that. But there's one cost they don't calculate very well, and that's turnover. Turnover of their employees.
Okay, let's talk about the employees because it's important.
Yes. So, and that's what they don't calculate, and it's the profit killer, it's the income killer, it's why they can't make a lot of money out of their business. So last year, this is data that's from the restaurant industry, the turnover rate last year was a low of 78%, up to as high as 130%, right? Some as high as 150%, and I've helped people that have 200+% turnover, and I'll tell you what that looks like.
Wow.
And the average cost to replace those employees was $2,700. That's wages, training, manager time, running ads, the food, the supplies, everything for the amount of time average, $2,700. Now that does not include mistakes, that doesn't include loss of productivity from somebody that's brand new coming on the team, that doesn't include lost business from mistakes, that people don't come anymore, right? That doesn't include any of that, so it could be actually higher. So what that means, Carol, if you have 20 employees and you're at the low end of 70%, you lost 15 out of 20 employees for the year. And that cost you over $40,000 to replace them. Okay, now if you're at the average, which is 92%, you lost 18 out of 20 employees.
That's really bad.
And you spent almost 50,000 to replace them. And if you're at the highest end, you went through 26 out of 20 employees. You needed 20, you hired 26, and they're no longer with you. And that cost you $70,000 to replace. That's real money. Now, I wonder why they're not making money? This is the unseen cost.
Wow. I mean, but I gotta ask you, why are they not being able to stay? Why, what happens? There's gotta be a reason why they're having such a turnover.
Right, and a lot of things that contribute to it, and today's, what we're gonna talk about today is the first interaction that you have with an employee. So there are things that we talked in the last show, practices and beliefs that are congruent with building sales. Well, here's beliefs and practice that are congruent with building the dream team that are gonna be with you for a long time.
Right, that's what you really want.
And long time is 1 to 5 years. We have some 20 years.
Absolutely.
20, 30 years of some of them. But a minimum 1.5 to 3 years. Minimum.
Okay, so the last time that you were on this show,
Mhm.
okay, and where you were talking a little bit about how you need to do the right thing when like let's say you have, I'll get it out. When let's say something happens where your food wasn't 100%, whatever happened, you are gonna give them the moon. That's what you were
Right.
talking about. How you've got to make sure that when that person walks out the door, that okay, even if you wasn't perfect that night, you made it perfect by what you did for them.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just kind of highlighting
Yes.
that. And now I can only guess. I might.
Yes.
Okay, but let's talk about what you do to keep those employees that are
Okay.
gonna do and act the way you want them to, and giving your patrons the kind of service that they deserve.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It all starts in the beginning, and I hope that from the last show, people did take that, handling complaints and change the way they handle complaints.
Please do change
Let's hope
the
they
way.
do that. In each show, we want to give some kind of nugget, and this show, we're going to give a nugget.
Okay.
That's really going to
What's the
transform
nugget?
people. We'll get to
Okay.
it. Got to build it up. Got to build up anticipation. So what we do, the average turnover is 78%. We get it down to under 10%.
Big time.
With our gatekeeper hiring. And we go back to the same formula, is you have to have beliefs and philosophies and behaviors that are conducive to building a great team. So here are some that aren't. I always like to tell you what not to do, right?
Okay, here we go.
And don't do this. And if you hear yourself saying this, these are incongruent with building a team. First one, I can't find good people. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, a lot.
All
Have you
the
ever heard
time.
that?
All the
All the
time.
time.
I used to be a victim of that. I used to say it in my entrepreneur businesses. Yeah.
I can't find good people. If that's your mindset.
It's all their fault.
Very,
Right. If
very
that's-
broad brushed.
If that's your belief, you will never get staffed. You have to discontinue that belief. If you say, I hired the wrong people, if that's what you're saying, you are not going to get staffed. If that's your core belief, that I'm hiring the wrong people.
Right. It's always them.
If you find yourself saying, nobody wants to, and you're broad brushing a whole generation, a whole age group, a whole whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never get hired. And the opposite of that, if you say, well, everybody does this. They all show up late, they're all lazy, they all steal, and you broad brush again a whole group of people. An example is I had a franchise owner say, I don't hire high school kids. Why? Because they don't work out. So you've hired every single kid at every single high school near you and none of them worked out. No. Well, you just broad brushed every single high school kid. Not true. So these are broad brush. If you really believe these, you're not going to get staffed. So stop that. But now we're going to tell you what to replace it with. Right?
Okay.
You don't just stop.
So before we go to a break,
Mhm.
tell us the number one thing that the restaurant owner should do when they first meet their first employee.
Right. So we talked about that application part. Not even the interview, but when they first encounter
What that application looks
what
like.
that looks like, what that encounter looks like.
Okay, what's the most important thing on the application that they need to look for that's gonna stand out to make that guy stay?
On the application?
Yeah,
Well, so there's a resume, application screening we show them to do.
okay,
And usually that's a result of the ad. We start with a hiring ad, which already screens people out.
okay.
So people won't even apply if this doesn't look like them. So we
Perfect.
start back then, so we're not wasting people's time.
Right,
Yeah,
that's a
start
good
at
thing.
the copy. When you're doing the first ad, you start at the copy. then you're filtering before they even get into the door.
Right, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
And, you know, so many people out there, if you want, we're talking about restaurants, obviously this works for any
Mhm.
business, but
Yes.
you tend to narrow in on restaurants. And it could be somebody that's right now listening, that's sitting there in your restaurant right now, that it's empty.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a reason for that. Or you know somebody, or, you know, please tell them about this. This is so important, because we need our restaurants here.
Yes.
And, you know, we need the small ones to be able to
Mhm.
stand up
We
against
do.
those bigger ones out
We
there.
sure do.
Their phone number to call is 520-907-8409. It's risefromtheashesconsulting.com. Okay, we are still gonna go on here because
Yeah.
we're live on Facebook,
Yeah.
okay? So, the number one thing is they have to start with getting the people that hear the ad
Yes.
to
Yes.
come in
Right.
and to be that right person that they're looking
Right.
for
So
when they walk through the
Your
door.
first, we call gatekeeper hiring. So
Okay.
there's gates that they go through. The first gatekeeper is the ad itself. Your ad should attract and repel.
Okay,
Attract the people that are the perfect match, and Kevin, you can talk on this,
Yeah.
and repel the people that aren't. And if you're repelling people that aren't a match, if they say, I can't see myself doing that, they don't waste your time. They
okay.
don't call, they don't plug up your emails. So Kevin, you have the pool business, and you do the whole
And I've
qualify and
done so
disqualify.
many years of retail and entertainment business. You have to make sure that the person is coming in. But with the pools right now, if you don't like 110-degree weather, you're not gonna wanna stand out there and do pools.
No,
So going after your target market right from the beginning and writing good copy that attracts and repels the right people. So we did that with a current ad, and we're getting 5-10 applications a day.
Pre-qualified.
Pre-qualified.
That's right.
Pre-qualified
Pre-qualified applications that is helping our industry get the right people that I'm not afraid to interview them, because I'm gonna have to tell this guy no, I'm gonna have to tell this gal no.
right, but
You know.
unfortunately, here's what I think happens,
Mhm.
I could be wrong. They're desperate to have somebody fill that spot.
They are.
Right.
Because without them, they don't have anything,
Right.
right? They don't have
Right.
that person, so they'll hire anyone
Right.
that comes in that door.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this, so like, let me give you an example of in a bakery, we're at a bakery ad. And it says, come work for the bakery. You're gonna be covered head and toe with flour. Your back's gonna hurt, your feet are gonna hurt, you're gonna be sore, but you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna be feeding people amazing product. You are gonna be changing their lives. You're gonna be making their lives better by the quality product that you're producing. So we tell them reality, and it really isn't that bad, but we really make it look bad.
Right.
But then the rewards for it, so people say, I can see myself doing that.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm
How
head and
much
toe with
fun is
flour.
that?
I don't care if my feet hurt. I'm doing it right now. My feet hurt right now,
Right.
right? Or I'm used to that.
That's
but
a
I
good
wanna be.
idea.
So we
Like-
screen them out. If they can't
As-
see themselves doing that, they don't even bother.
As
coming.
Americans, we have grown so accustomed to selling the job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're trying to unsell the job. It's a total different paradigm shift.
Yeah, it is.
We're unselling the job. That
They'll
way
want
you
you.
pre-screen them and you're
Pre-screen.
ready to go.
That's the first gate.
It's
is
not-
is the ad you run. Most people say, come on, this is a great place to work. No, no, we don't say
You're
that.
selling the job.
You're not selling.
I
that.
remember in India during the downturn, McDonald's was giving away a free iPad if you stayed there for 60 days to
Wow.
entice people to go to work.
that crazy?
And you shouldn't have to do that.
No,
So,
but I guess I'm saying what you did in the beginning, which there are so many people. And also today, more and more people are looking to work from home, right?
Yes.
mhm.
So that makes it harder too,
Right,
because this is not obviously a work at home type of
It's
a
not.
job.
Well, I
It's-
had an application just last week, a resume, and they said, do you have work from home jobs? We're cleaning pools.
Right,
Yeah,
right, no,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So that's an automatic, I'm not wasting my
My
time and
time.
I'm not
Right.
wasting your time.
So the idea, so we also show them multiple ways to get applicants, not just
Sure.
one,
Not just
multiple
one.
ways,
It's a-
and that's in
it's
our
a
training.
revenue-
So you can be picky.
revenue stream.
So instead of getting 50 applicants, you get 5
Mhm.
that are pre-qualified. They
Right.
pre-qualified themselves.
Pre-qualified. Mhm.
So you're not wasting time trying to interview 50 people.
Mhm.
You maybe get 2 or 3, but
Right,
they're,
but they're already.
and they still got more
pre-qualified.
gates to jump
And-
through.
and
Right.
unbelievably, this actually adds to their profit. This will add to your profit, because you're not wasting that time. Look,
The
we
turnover.
And
We
again-
like to buy
Back to
people
the
time.
turnover.
Mhm.
the owner's time, not waste time, because you can't get back time. We
Right.
can get more money, we can't waste time.
I mean, and I could talk to you about a million businesses that
Mhm.
also say the same thing.
Yes, they
It's,
do.
it just doesn't seem to change for almost any type of a business there, but this is something that,
Mhm.
for restaurants, it's so important. Oh my God.
The new
I
report for
remember- I
the
know
new
that-
report for the restaurants
30 seconds.
just come out. 9 to 15 restaurants a month are closing in
Closing.
Phoenix now. It
We
went
wanna
from
do-
6 to
I want
9
you
to
to say
15.
that, but we get off.
But you
Okay.
can say that, okay?
What they don't tell you is what you still have. Whether you're on Medicare Advantage, a supplement, Obamacare, or a high deductible plan, there are caps, deductibles, copay. When life happens, those caps cost thousands. At the Howard Car Cash Agency, we protect you beyond Medicare health insurance.
You wanna get that stat?
Where the exposure is, how to shrink it.
You wanna talk about stats?
Yeah, I'm talking about whatever it works out. Just holler when you want me.
So welcome back, everyone. You know, we are also on Facebook here, and I
Mhm.
just love that we do that. And during the break, especially at the bottom of the hour, I get to learn so much more. And it's it's tragic. It's
Yeah.
almost really tragic, but I think it's wonderful what you do. We are talking about restaurant owners, yet I know that this works for almost any business, but we're talking about you restaurant owners out there. Anybody that knows a restaurant that you absolutely love and you know they're probably on their last leg, because it's so hard to become competitive, but to also be doing the right things that
Yes,
help them.
that help
And
'em.
you have the knowledge, you've had, your background brings that, and both
Yes,
of you.
and experience.
And the experience
First
of
of all,
it,
doing the wrong way, and then figuring out
and then
doing the right
figuring
way.
it out, but also what you do is bring to the table, within 90 days, I gotta say this too, that
Mhm.
he's gonna turn around that business within 90 days, the restaurant, within 90 days, that is awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that first thing we do is, you gotta get staffed, right? Before you do any kind of, you gotta stop the turnover, right? Plug the holes and get staffed with a team that's gonna be with you for a long time. And so the first thing we do is get out of that mindset, I can't hire people, I can't find good people, all that, stop that. A thing we always talk, that's incongruent. What's kind of congruent is at least say, they're not a match to my business. Okay, that's better than the right, wrong, left, right, upside down, wrong person, right, whatever. They're not a match. Okay, well, that's better, right? So you do the interview, they're just not like, you can definitely screen people out for the pool business, they're not a
Right,
match.
right.
What are the things you look for?
Well, definitely, they have to know how to swim. That would be a great
Right,
thing.
Right,
They have to have a good
Like he
DMV record.
mentioned that
Right.
And the main thing is you're looking at somebody that says, I don't like to work outside. I don't like it when it's too hot. I don't like it when it's too cold. Well, they're definitely not a match for us. Why would I waste my time?
Right, but they're not, you're not saying they're good or bad or
I'm
right
not-
or wrong.
It has nothing
right?
to
It
do
has
with
nothing to
them.
do.
And
We don't look
here's
at people
another
that
thing
way.
that we do, Carol, is when we do an interview process and somebody doesn't quite match our business, they may be perfect for a
Mhm.
restaurant business or a retail business. And I have a lot of friends in the different businesses, and you say, hey, I got a perfect guy. And we tell them that. We'll tell them, and Tom's
Mhm.
gonna go through some of that stuff
Yep.
later, is we'll tell them, jump over here. My friend Sam has a hay business or whatever, and he's looking for some good guys to throw hay bales or whatever.
And a restaurant, when you work for a restaurant, especially as a server, or all those, you gotta get with it, right?
Mhm.
You can train, but if you
Yeah.
have somebody who's got those applications that are coming in, already has that background, that's what you're trying to do here,
Yep,
go ahead.
absolutely. So let me give you the nugget for today's show, all right? The
I can't
paradigm
wait. I'm gonna
shift.
write it down, I can't
You
wait.
gotta write it down, everybody listen to this.
Definitely a
This is
paradigm shift.
Definitely a paradigm shift about everything else.
Paradigm shift.
So they're not good, bad, they're not left, right, they're not upside down, right? They're none of that. They're not
Absolutely.
even a match, we're not even gonna say that. When you look at an applicant, they're one of two things, and that's it. They're either a future great employee, or they're a regular customer. That's it.
Okay. And you want both. You want both.
Absolutely.
But
So-
that's it, there's not a third category of a disgruntled, an upset, an offended person that went through a bogus interview or got ignored or was treated poorly in this process. That is not a third category. They are either a great employee, and we'll show you how to do that, or they're gonna be a regular customer, and we'll show you how to do that too. And I got some great examples.
And he does it within 90 days.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And the last thing you want is you want somebody coming in and becoming disgruntled because of a
Yes.
bad interview,
Because
and
of
they
the
go
problems.
home and tell all their family, and guess what? Your restaurant's empty. Why? Because you didn't interview right from the beginning. These are foundational principles. Right from the beginning, you decided this person isn't any good, not worth my time, and you blow them off, or you give them a bad interview, or whatever. Tom has some really unique ways to keep that interviewee, I'm sorry, I can't talk either, Carol.
It's not easy.
These interviewees, you have some really unique ways that you can get them and keep them as a customer long-term, or an employee long-term, or both, and become
Right.
your biggest raving fan through an interview.
So let me give you some
Absolutely.
examples.
Go ahead.
So Carol, you're a good employee, right? Maybe I can't find good people. You're a really good employee and you're looking for a job. So you walk in, it's really busy. And they tell you, they look at you like you're a pain, like you're a nuisance. And this is what happens. And they say, go apply online. How's that make you feel?
I hate that.
It happens
The
all the
first
time.
minute they say that.
Just
Go ahead.
happened to my 2 grandkids.
Right.
Yeah, go apply online. What, wait a minute, I'm in here. Yeah, I showed up. Go
Yeah.
apply online.
Mhm.
Then you go apply online. You got a username, password. The password doesn't work. You got to reset it. I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Now
don't
you're a
even
good
get it.
employee.
Right.
Done. I can't find good people. I can't find, right? They're not out there. They are. That's how they're treated. So let's say you do get an interview and you show up on time, and the employee says, sit down there. You're waiting 15 or 20 minutes for the owner to come out to talk to you.
No, your time is important too.
But not to them. I see this all the time. I said, Kevin, do you see that person sitting over, that young person? He's waiting for an interview. I'll bet you they're gonna
And
sit
what
there.
message does that send to them?
Mhm.
I can show up anytime I want, because apparently he doesn't care.
Mhm,
Right.
Exactly.
But if I'm late for work, oh, I'll hear about it. But he's late for the interview. So punctuality really doesn't
Yeah,
mean.
they always
and-
have to say, oh, I'm
Right.
sorry, you know.
Nope.
And
Or
this
they're-
goes back to our original message of incongruent and
Yep.
congruent. Don't be incongruent. These are things to fix that can make you recession-proof.
Well,
And
there you
be
go.
congruent,
Right.
yes.
And then they'll give excuse, well, I had to place an order, or I forgot.
Mhm.
And then they come out unprepared, unprofessional, asking you stupid questions that have nothing to do with the job. I like the superhero question, we'll see
Yeah,
about that one.
that'll go
And
later.
a person sitting there going, you're gonna judge my worthiness on these stupid questions?
Mhm.
And they're unprofessional, they're making inappropriate jokes during the interview, or, yeah, well, I see it.
You see
I do
this.
training.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go out and I'll train managers on how to interview, and they're like, God, you can't say that. What are you trying to do? Why would you ask that question, right? And then the applicant's like, what is going on?
Mhm.
Or, this happens too, this happened to one of you. They go in and they say, so, hi, how are you doing? What's your availability? Can you start Monday? And that's the interview.
And that's it.
Right, you
Not-
know, because we
not-
just
no
said, I
background.
just said that, what's the word? They're dying to have somebody
Right,
there, because they don't have anyone, so they'll take anyone.
Exactly.
But,
So,
but the other problem with that is you're not giving that person on the other end any value.
Mhm.
no.
They're not, at that point, you're saying, you're not, I just need you to fill a hole.
You gotta treat people with respect.
Absolutely.
And this is what we see all the time. And we talked to her. I said, how's the interview? She goes, they asked me what my availability was and can I start Monday? She was offended.
Mm.
She goes, they don't know
offended.
anything about me. I studied for the interview. I rehearsed the interview questions, and that was my interview. Do you think she wants to work there?
Very
Yeah.
offended.
And she was qualified.
She was
Desperately
very qualified, but they didn't even care about that.
Nope, because they're unprofessional. So we're saying, do not do those things. And then they say the interview abruptly ends quickly, and they say, okay, we'll check back in a couple of weeks. How would that make you feel?
I hate that.
Right.
This is what they're doing, and they're wondering why. And what do they say? I can't find good people. I hired the wrong person.
Mhm.
Because somebody that actually takes that job, that horrible first impression, as soon as things are chaotic, they go, my first impression was right, I'm out of here.
And sometimes it is the applicants, but sometimes it's the management.
Most
So,
of the time.
Right.
Well, yes, it's a training issue. You gotta remember, Carol, we come out of the vid, I don't know if I can say it, that little period of time, everything was shut down.
Mhm.
So you have a whole generation of younger people that went to school, that didn't have any social for 2 years, that didn't have any training other than a little bit online.
Mhm.
So these guys are our workforce now. So there's a lack of training out there, okay?
Right.
So So instead of just, oh, nobody wants to do anything, we gotta start at the beginning. Let's start with our management, our CEOs, our owners and operators, and let's say, okay, let's get back to training. We do that, we can help train people, so then you have a lifelong loyalty employee instead of just
And we
nobody
start
wants to
training-
work.
And we start training in the beginning, hiring and interviewing. So let me contrast that, what we talked about, with how to accelerate getting your best crew, okay? You walk into the restaurant and it's dinner, it's busy dinner, and you say, hey, I'd like to fill out an application. The hostess says, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Goes, gets the owner, the manager shakes your hand. And has a 2 or 3 minute conversation. Hi, I'm Tom. Your name is Carol? Oh, thank you very much. I have a small conversation with you. I said, tell you what, I have an application with me. Can you fill it out right now? If not, I have a tablet. Fill it out online. Because I don't want you to leave until I get your information. How does that make you feel
That
compared to the
much
first guy?
better.
You're an
If
important
you've got-
person at that
exactly.
point.
Right.
Yeah.
He cares about you.
Yes.
Right. And then when you come in on time for the interview, and the owner's at the front door with your application in his hand. Open the door for you, right on time. Hi, Carol. Remember our conversation? Thank you. Because you said an appointment at that point. Now you're here for the interview. He brings you over to a table. There's 2 glasses of water, a pad, a paper, and a pen. And that's where
he's
you can
ready.
interview. And a small appetizer for you, because maybe you didn't eat.
That's so sweet.
Right?
That's awesome.
It's on the table. Then as you sit down, he tells the server, come here. For the next 20 minutes, so I want no distractions. Don't call me for anything, no interruptions. What does that tell you?
That tells you that you really care. You know what, we're gonna go to a break, we're gonna come back, we're gonna talk further. You know, some of the things when you're talking, it's like it makes
It's
sense.
common sense.
It is common sense, but so many people don't do it. He turns around businesses and restaurants mostly, and within 90 days. Check him out, it's risefromtheashesconsulting.com. We'll be back in just a minute. We're gonna keep on going here.
Yeah, and those are
Okay.
realistic, that's how you feel.
But it is, and here's what you're doing. It's like, a long time ago, I read a book, and it was important because we were talking about empowering women, right? It was Mary Kay book, and it was all about really treating people the way you'd want to be treated.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
And making them feel important.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
As a strategy, as a philosophy.
But think about the philosophy and the psychology behind that. If you treat this interviewee at any age, especially a teenager that gets pushed away, or the elderly that gets pushed away because, oh, your time is done.
Broad brush.
Right.
You are bringing those people in, and you said, this is the way we treat every individual that comes into our establishment. Now their mindset is, I want to be part of something like this.
When you work with people,
Mhm.
because you really have to take the person that's the manager
Yes.
and the owners and really change their mindset.
Yes, they have to change it.
So you work with them.
Right.
And to do that.
Yes.
Okay, you're giving them the tools
Mhm.
to know what to do, but you also help train them.
Yes, we do.
So they change, they're changing
Their
their.
philosophy,
Can you see
their
how this
their
is
philosophy.
beliefs,
a
and their
program?
behaviors are
It's
different.
not a
It's
course.
philosophy.
It's a mindset change. And so it doesn't take any time. You're replacing. I'm gonna look at applicants different now. I'm not gonna treat them like I used to, or I'm not gonna let my managers treat them like we used to. And all of a sudden, so you see what we're doing, right?
Yeah,
With the complaints. We accelerate how you handle
With the
complaints.
digital graveyard, we're getting away from
Getting away
programs
from
and systems and going into a philosophy, which is accelerate now. That's the philosophy to change the beliefs to get into
Yep.
behaviors. That's why we do
And
Is
that.
it okay if I say that? when we're-
Absolutely.
And then when they get somebody, a live person, coming to the restaurant to apply, that's a customer, a future customer. That's not a nuisance, annoying person, somebody that's interrupting my thing. No, they've come in, I'm going to preserve that relationship even from the beginning. And I'll tell you how we end the interview.
Are we doing okay on time?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
This is what I want to get to, is the contrast. And if owners, business owners, restaurant owners just understand, just contrast what you're doing, right? Is what you're doing building business? Is what you're doing
Everything.
treating people?
Everything
Does
from
this,
interview
your
on.
philosophy that you're
Mhm.
teaching, does it really
30 seconds.
apply to any restaurant?
Any business.
Any restaurant.
Yeah, I know any business.
And any
But
restaurant.
even any,
Because
just like,
everybody's hiring.
you know,
100%.
like over here, we got like the this chicken restaurant,
I
and,
did it in a fast food burger environment.
So you did, okay.
Hired, we had to hire. Had to hire like 100 people at a
And the people are
time.
willing to change.
Yeah, they didn't know
They
They
anything.
gotta
want,
be willing.
you
They
know what,
have
they
to.
want change.
Right.
They wanna be led, they
You
don't
wanna
know
be
how to do it.
successful, you gotta
They don't
want
know how to
change.
do it, yeah.
I'm gonna say that. So welcome back. You know, if you wanna be successful in any business,
Mhm.
especially we're honing in on the restaurants because that's what you work with most, okay?
They're hurting right now.
And they are, but there's a good reason for it,
Mhm.
right? You can't
There
just
is.
say the economy.
Nope.
Yep, it actually starts
Exactly right.
with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and what
Yes.
you're saying
Mhm.
here is that we gotta change our mindset.
Mhm.
And that's what it really starts with, is changing your paradigm to
Mhm.
change your mindset of how you treat people, because restaurant business is a people business.
business.
Go ahead.
Yes, so we're describing that great interview experience that builds business, not tears it down. So then you go through a great interview, they're prepared, the manager, owner is prepared, they're making you feel great, there's a good rapport going on there, you're not stressed out. It's a tough interview, because we teach people how to interview the right way, but you know, you're not being demeaned during it, it's very on point, and they're prepared, and it's very professional, and you're feeling really good about this interview. Then when it comes to the conclusion, the owner says, look, I think they ask a lot of questions, and then they can ask questions too. They say, you know, I think I got all the information we need, my team and I, we have some other interviews to do, we'll make our decision, but I really appreciate your time today, and I want you to come in, I got a comp card, I want you to come in and have dinner on me, or lunch, dinner on me, because if you're gonna work here, I want you to know what you're getting into. And if you're already a customer here, well then welcome back, I want you to have the occasion. So, does that build business?
It does, absolutely.
Does it accelerate?
Yeah.
You've got all these applicants coming in. There's a way to market your building. They're
Because
walking
anybody
in.
that walks into your
Mhm.
restaurant is a possible
There it
patron.
is.
Ta-ting!
Yes.
Ring the bell.
God, I'm so smart.
Ring the bell.
Yeah.
And you said it's common sense.
It
is.
is common sense, but you know what, common sense is really tough, because most people, I hate to say it, don't have it.
Well, and owners are
Or
scared.
they
They're scared.
Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
scared.
everybody is too. And
Right.
yes, yeah, but you can't use excuses.
No.
It has to start with you.
Mhm.
You wanted this business, right?
Yes.
Now, guess what? You have somebody here that can help you
Yes.
turn it around in 90 days. So we have a lot of restaurants here. What did
Mhm.
you say how many restaurants that failed? What
Well,
was the number?
so as of 2 months ago, we talked about this on a previous show. The statistics that Phoenix came out with was about 6 restaurants a month was closing. That number has jumped between 9 and 15 restaurants per month are closing. And they're mainly the full service restaurants that are family owned and operated, more the mom and pops.
And they all think that it's, must have been the food,
Mhm.
you know? No,
Mm-mm.
because I know a lot of mom and pops, they do some really good food,
Right.
really
Yes.
good stuff. The problem is they don't know how to make that business thrive
Right.
by how you
Right.
treat people.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And these are all add to it. If they treat applicants like that, they're not gonna be successful overall. They're not gonna be able to staff, right? And if they can staff, then we take them through, this is just the beginning of Gatekeeper Heart. We tell them how to interview, how to onboard them, how to train them, how to have a great environment. We call the peak performers environment, where they're charged and we tell them how to recognize properly, how to reward properly, how to schedule properly, and all this culture stuff, because there's ways they're doing it now that are not congruent with success. We trying to get them congruent in marketing and leadership, and we get the whole course, is that every step of the way, we're showing, don't do this, but do this instead.
You say that this is not a program,
Mm-mm.
this is not, but it is a change of mindset.
Yes.
Which is the first thing you have to do. And I know that now you listen and think, well, I could do that on my own.
Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
go try it,
Mhm.
but you know what? Tell them
Sell it.
why they need to have you.
Well, because you could do it on your own, do all the research on your own, get the courses and programs and all that, and it's like, yeah, I should probably do something differently. The reason why we're so fast is that in the first 30 days, we've changed a lot of your mindsets, and you're already seeing the results. Can you imagine after 90 days of one by one, and even how you count food cost, everything is a mindset shift. You're gonna do it differently. We're gonna show you how to schedule different, how to order differently, how to account differently.
We're gonna
That
take
aligns
all
it.
the incongruency out
And quick.
and target the congruency that is on a trajectory to your profitability.
So-
And so there's no fluff in between. There were a lot of these programs, that's why I call it the digital graveyard, if you've seen the last show. The digital graveyard is you get all this fluff, you get all these things, but what we wanna do is get rid of the fluff, and you wanna go directly to the main thing that you're worried about that's keeping you up. You don't wanna get locked out, you don't wanna
Right.
have the night sweats, and you wanna go watch your kid play a ball game. You wanna have some time. This is your baby, this is your restaurant, and we feel it. We've been there, we've done it.
Help
So
people.
let us help you accelerate the business by taking down all the incongruency, put in the congruency that's gonna accelerate you, change your behavior, and then after 90 days, you probably won't even need us except you wanna say hi on the street or
Yeah.
listen to us on Carol Show.
Have you come in and
we'll go-
have
Yes,
a little meal
absolutely.
with you,
Oh,
yeah?
I would love that.
And that is what it's all about, what you just
Mhm.
said right there, in a nutshell. And you are passionate
Yes.
about helping because, number one, you've been through it, you've walked
Yes.
in their shoes. And so many businesses, restaurant, we can say businesses as well, but restaurants
Mhm.
that open up and they are so excited.
Mhm.
And it's so sad to see some of them that close so fast. It's
Yes.
really sort of sad. But you know what, like you said, this was your baby.
Mhm.
This is something you wanted so badly. Let's make it work. Let's make it
Yes.
work right
Mhm.
so that you can have your restaurant running for a very long time, forever.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people go into business, Carol, because, hey, I have this great recipe.
Mhm.
And then they expand on that recipe. But they have no clue
No
about
clue.
the fundamentals of, we call it the 4 pillars. But we have this system, the accelerator, not a system, the accelerator, this core belief that you go through that changes all that and teaches you each little aspect of the business that puts you on a trajectory again for
Within-
profit and to give you
Mhm.
your time back. Time's something you can't get back.
Yep.
But what if you could work your restaurant 30 hours a week instead of 100 hours a week and get more money out of it, more profits
Yep.
out of it than working 100 hours, not finding the right people because you're the hiring strategy or lost whatever.
Knowing what to do.
Knowing what to do.
Knowing what to do,
It's a
how
simple
to
belief,
do this
yes.
in a way that brings people back
And-
and keep on
That's
coming
right.
back.
And real quick to Kevin's point about getting your time back. When you get gatekeeper hiring and we take your turnover to under 10% and you have 20 employees, that's 1 employee a year you lose.
Yeah, you see?
Instead of 18.
But it's wonderful when you have a great server
Yes.
and that
Mhm.
person knows how to treat the patron that's
And
come
you
in.
ask for that person when you go back to the restaurant. You ask for
Absolutely.
that
Mhm.
specific person. You don't go into a restaurant that has different people every time. You go
Right,
into
same
something
one.
that you have the lifelong loyalty.
There's a
the whole-
reason why that's
Yes,
happening.
That's so critical
know
in
what to
keeping your lifelong customers is having a lifelong employee, and it all starts at the hiring.
It starts at the hiring, it also starts, well, you said that it's the not just the hiring, when you have an advertisement
Yes.
that's gonna bring in
Yes.
those people, what you're doing is you're weeding out already the
Already.
ones that don't really, make sense.
Can't see themselves.
Right? And so you're saving time, you're gonna have that person that's walking through the door that's already probably a good applicant
Mhm,
for
right.
you.
Exactly right.
And you already know a little bit about them because you've got all their information. You sit down, you're gonna talk to them, and you're gonna get back to them, and most likely that person will get hired.
Mhm.
Yes, and the thing is, Carol, is we don't just help with this other stuff. I'm in marketing, been in radio, you know that, and my background is copywriting. Tom's background is, we both studied copywriting. So we help our clients copyright for the ad for their employees
Yeah.
and for building their business, whether it's radio or whatever way that we
Yeah.
decide is best for them.
Mhm.
And it's not one fits all program, it's actually targeted towards what type of business they're in, what's their demographics, and we go from there.
We all know that little restaurant that we would love, or we see it gone, and we're like, oh my
I know,
God, I
I know.
can't believe that restaurant's no longer there.
Yes.
And it's so sad, because they are the ones that really, oh my God,
Mhm.
restaurateurs,
And we
oh my God.
love those kind. We
Yeah.
love them.
and they really wanted to do something so special and to serve good food,
Yep.
right? I know because I remember I had an aunt who was from Peking.
Oh, wow.
My dad's uncle, whatever it was, married
Mhm.
her, and she had recipes that
Mhm.
everybody
Oh,
would say to
wow.
her, "You got to open a restaurant." You know, she opened up a restaurant. It was in Beverly Hills in California, and let me tell you something, she didn't last for a long time. You know why? Because the person that was doing the cooking didn't know how to do it the way
Oh,
she did.
we
So
have-
there's
we have a
another
plan
thing.
for
We
that.
have a plan for that. I
We
only
do.
wish she could
Yep,
know
We
you.
do.
Listen, we're trying to keep those restaurants out there,
Yes.
even though we know this works for any business, but we're trying to keep the restaurants out there from failing, and so many of them
Mhm.
are. What's your final words, really quick?
Our final words is it's a paradigm shift to when you're hiring, make sure you keep in mind that as that's a future employee or it's a customer. But either way, they're a person, treat them right.
He could do this within 90 days and they work statewide. Call him at 520-907-8409 or risefromtheashesconsulting.com.